Warning, this video is only for 14 and up, and if you're under, please leave this video because I will not be accused of something I don't want to be accused of. Please, if you're under, leave the video. Stories go through the air. You can listen and you cannot. But stories are here to help. Understand what is right and what is wrong. But sometimes stories can do the opposite. There's no right or wrong. You have to form your own opinion. But that is not what you're here for. You're here to listen to this silly little god of this channel. Listens to his mind going on about his stories, about the different worlds where he's traveling to, and where he can make some small different in a timeline. Welcome to the Blue Mask What If channel. Hello everyone, this is Blue Mask and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys will enjoy, so let's begin. Hello everyone, this is Blue Mask and welcome back to my channel. And welcome back to What If Bell Cranel Was an Item Maker, the part 6 or 7. Last episode, Bell has just, uncovered that he can do enchantment on his items with magic. Like fire, water, earth, wind, I think ice, or maybe ice, lightning, gravity, and magic, pure magic, on it. I think that was the 6th element. I choose so. The 4 normal elements, fire, water, earth, and wind, and gravity, and then pure magic, maybe ice, no, and lightning, that is 7. So maybe I'll include ice in this. Maybe. But after Bell discovered that, he discovered also that the magic of the enchantments has effect on swords. Except for one specific kind of sword that Bell bought. A Croso sword. Has not that much effect on, well, the enchantment hasn't much effect on Croso's blacksmith swords. So Bell wants to meet this blacksmith, but he can't right now. So that is where we last left off, and yeah, let's continue. We see Bell Cranel rushing down the corridor of the dungeon, going through a hell of a lot of goblins on floor 5. It's been a couple of days, it's been like 3 days since Bell has uncovered, well, his magic of, well, of the enchantments. So Bell is right now in the dungeon checking out everything he could. Being his armor set, his clothes, his many items he can enchant, and have been testing that out in the dungeon. And Bell has gotten very successful of the enchantments. The fire aspects on his sword has, well, affected when he used it a lot with the fire attack. When he used his mind into the blade and the fire attack that spreads out, when he used it, he noticed that the blades gets more and more damaged. But Bell, luckily for him, has repaired normal weapons beforehand and did it himself. but it doesn't affect the blade itself yet. It's more like the handle started to melt a little, not the blade itself that was enchanted. So Bell has been testing out his new kind of sort of upgrade to his equipment. Being he has enchanted his adventurer's outfit without the armor set, meaning the pants, the boots, the shirt, and the scarf, that is not a helmet, has been enchanted by protection, minus the cloth has protected by mat or fire resistance. Because in the more lower kind of floors, fire magic will be more common, so Bell wanted to make sure when he gets down there that fire protection will be the comment that he has on his cloak. But he has protection on his shirt, his pants, and his boots. No, he has fire protection on his shirt and pants, and he has I would say also fire protection underneath. On his pants, boots, and shirt right now is fire protection. And on his armor set he has enchanted is protection itself. So it's more harder to break and everything else. So Bell has done that, and he also has enchanted his scabbard, the one that is holding his sword, to protection as well. If he can't reach for his sword and pull it out as quickly as possible, Bell can pull the sheath out of the one that is holding it and block the attack that is coming for him with that. So it's more protection on the sheath. So Bell is right now testing out his outfit in the dungeon. He has fought hard and long what to put on his outfit. So what he chose is what he wanted to focus on in the beginning. Bell is jumping around some few goblins on floor 5. Jumping over them, cutting them down, and throwing some knives he has gotten at some, and maybe needles at some few, goblins beforehand. And when he runs into war shadows, he cuts them, with his fire sword, melting the shadow monster in half by, cutting it off. The head and everything else. Getting some drop items and some crystal and putting in his magical bag he has gotten. He has made. I don't think I said that Bell met Lily yet, so sorry about that. Bell stopped at a corner where it split off to 2 other corridors and took a breather after, killing a group of monsters he has just run past. Turning around, grabbing the crystals and putting it inside his bag, Bell walks down the corridor. Where he hears a certain clink sound. Confusing Bell and walking towards the sound where it comes from, Bell spotted a young man with red hair and a black outfit mining into the, dungeon. Bell realized it could be a smith looking for some ore in the dungeon. Ores are quite common in the dungeon itself and is really, well, it will be produced again after some few hours or even days. So seeing people that is smiths stop for a moment and mine some ore is very common in the dungeon. Bell wanted to go by until he sees a wall shadow coming up from, well, one side, well, behind the man, and Bell immediately rushed forward to warn the man and cut down the monster. Watch out! The man looked at Bell with surprising and looked behind him to see the wall shadow. Unluckily for the man, he had his blade on the back and could not defend himself before Bell came in to cut down the wall shadow in half, landing a little bit away with the wall shadow disappearing after, well, being cut in half with a fire sword. It's literally a bunch of shadow. It will disappear immediately if Bell cuts in with fire sword. The man stood there for a moment in surprise of the sort of flames he saw and looked at Bell that sheathed his sword into his scabbard. Thank you for that, the man says, looking at Bell, and Bell walking up to him in kind of a worry, but seeing that the man was okay, breathed a little with, seeing this. It's fine. I was just quite worried when I saw the wall shadow wanted to hurt you. Oh, that's fine. You seem like a passionate guy. I can understand why you jumped in. Bell looked at the guy and his tools he has on him. So, you're a smith? Yes, I am. I'm just down here to grabbing some few more ores to, make some few more weapons. Huh. Well, that is quite a, setup you have there. Seeing the little... Imagine a kind of climbing hook or climbing pick that Ice Climber has, and scale it up to if it could be like a mini kind of pickaxe. That is what the guy is wearing, and having a basket with him to collect ores on the side where he was mining. But there is also a hammer and a chisel nearby, so the man could hammer into the wall. Well, it's the most that I can get right now. That makes sense. Bell says, looking at the tools the man has and everything else, when the man saw Bell's armor. Hey, where did you get that armor set? Bell looked at his armor set and just, oh, I bought it in a store. I really like this armor. Sorry if it sounds insulting, Bell says, looking at the man, but are you crazy? I'm proud that you're wearing my armor set. Bell stopped for a moment and then, wait, you Wolf Croso? Yeah, I am. Nice to meet you. Oh, Bell Cranel. Bell shook the guy's hand after wanted a handshake. Well, it's nice to see my armor, in good use. Yeah, it fits me great and has gotten me, helped me a little down in the dungeon here. Also, your weapon is kind of fine. Bell pulled out his weapon and showed the name he put on the sheath. Oh, you also had my sword, but I thought it was a magic sword for a moment. Wolf says, looking at where the crystal of the wall shadow was. Oh, no, it's not. It's a complicated, thing. You see, I'm more a item creator, so I create multiple items to help out in my adventures and my familia if they need that kind of stuff. So I've created items, backpacks, and I've learned to enchant some few stuff. Wells stood there for a moment, blinking for a moment, and looked back at Belle. Enchanting? Yeah. Belle pulls out his sword and handed it over to Welf. And Welf could feel, whoa, this sword is hot. Yeah. A few days ago, I got an enchantment to make fire swords. It's not like regular magic swords. Well, the magic can still hurt it when you pump your mind into it. But the magic itself wouldn't hurt the blade at all. Maybe get some few repairs done sometimes, but the sword would hold up. Except if it's, Except that one is the only one that could handle my magic. Welf looked at Belle in confusion. What do you mean my blade was the only one? Well, you see, the other blades I tested out, they were more destroyed after my testing of different elements I have. But your blade is the only one that survived. The other blade I tested with fire magic melted the blade when I used the enchantment with my mind. I used another one to check it out, but it could handle it, but still broke after some few moments. Wait, you're saying I'm the only one that can make things that can handle enchantments? Well, only weapons. Armor sets are a completely different thing. Okay. So what? Why are you telling me this? Well, you're the guy that made that sword. I want to test more things with more of your weapons. How so? Welf says, looking at Belle. I don't want to dechant my sword. That will cost me crystals from monsters. So if I enchant multiple weapons, that is your weapons, I can see the effects of different kinds on different weapons instead of them melting, rusting, dulling, disintegrating. I don't think ice has that much. I think it'll say ice also rusts the blade. Rusting and just making the blade disappearing. I want to test more of that with you if you want to. You're the only smith in this entire city that can handle weapon enchantments with your items. You are very interesting. Maybe I'll talk to my goddess and see if that could help. Which familia are you from? Oh, I'm from Loki familia. Wait, you're from Loki? Yes. I think that could be arranged. Well, thank you for actually telling me this. This kind of will be mind developing or anything else. This could change everything about magic swords and... Yeah, no. Welf stopped himself from thinking that kind of stuff. Are you okay? Bell says, looking at Welf, but he waved him off. No, it's nothing. Anyways, I should probably get back with mining. Welf says, picking up the basket of ores he has gotten, and the tools, picking them up. Welf was about to go when Bell asked, "Do you mind if I accompany you?" For protection, of course. Ah, okay then. I don't mind. Welf smiled at the little, company he will get. After, 2 hours of being in the dungeon, and both of them actually going to floor 9 to get better materials, and seeing Bell's blade in action, Welf has a lot of thoughts in his head. Well, thank you for the informative thing that you have given me, Bell. Both Welf and Bell was walking away from the guild towards where the areas of their familiars are at. It was quite informative of showing me that. I don't mind. I really want to work with you with this. It will be very useful for both familiars. Maybe even your work. Nah, I don't want to rely on magic swords that much. Oh, there's more enchantments than just magic and element magic. Really? Yeah, like sharpness on the blade, maybe my hammer could get more force in it. That's kind of enchantment I have as well. That does sounds useful magic. Welf says, looking ahead and thinking about all the things he could make. But he has to talk to his goddess. Well, I have to talk to my goddess about this. Oh, it's fine by me. Go ahead. Just send a message to Loki or something else. Or the Loki familiar, etc. I understand. Thank you for the help today as well, Bell. I don't mind. It's helpful and it's kind of interesting to hear a lot of people talk about their interests. Odd quirk of yours? When you have been traveling around with me, or when you have traveled a lot as me, hearing people's stories are kind of entertainment at some point. Well, see you later, Bell. Welf walked away from Bell, and Bell waved back at Welf and walked away. Said, I say that twice. And fast. After walking for a few, minutes, Bell arrived back at his familiar home and walked inside to see... no one was at the outdoors. There's not many people outside, training or doing something else right now. So Bell was walking up up to the door and walking inside and up to his room and placing his stuff when he wanted to inform Finn about this little coincidence he has in the dungeon. He just wanted to talk to Finn or Loki about how this, happened, and wanted to get an update from Loki. He went over to Loki's stores first, but she wasn't there. Bell walked over to the other side and knocked on that door where Finn was and walked inside to only see... Oh, Mr. Gareth. Ah, kid, it's good to see ya. Bell walked inside and looked around at... Where is Mr. Finn? Where's Captain Finn? Ah, him and some others has gone down to the dungeon. A little stroll, he says. Bell looked at Gareth with surprise and just, slumped his shoulders. Damn it! I wanted to inform him about some good news. What's that about, kid? Gareth says, looking up from the paperwork he has to do. He's still a, high member of his familia, so he still has paperworks. I just want to inform him that I met the smith that made that. I just wanted to inform him that I met the smith that made my blade and armor set. You met the Croso? Gareth asked, surprised. Yeah. Bell walked over to a couch that was in the room and sat down. From the other side of Gareth. I met him when he was about to get some more ores from the dungeon. Lower rank smith needs some ores, yes. That is quite normal thing to spot sometimes. Well, he was about to be attacked, and I saved him from a wall shadow. After, talking to him a little, he asked if I liked the armor set. I told him I did, and I didn't want to insult him, but he told me he was the one that made the armor set. That is quite a coincidence. Yeah, it is. Well, anyways, Bell says, looking at Gareth. He asked me, about how I liked it or anything else, and the blade as well, but he thought it was a magic sword. Bell explained the whole conversation with Wealth and the interaction after both of them. Bell helped him out with monsters and, mining. You are a kind man sometimes. Yeah, that's a little bit of my trait. Bell said it shyly after that. Well, how do you think the others... sorry about that. Cut that. Gareth looked at Bell and smiled a little. So, you made a friend then? Gareth asked Bell that looked at him. I think so. I mean, if I can actually get him as a, friend, maybe both of us can help each other out. I asked him that, and then he will consider it. Yes, that will be quite helpful. After some few moments, the door was opened to the living room where Loki and Beat came inside. Both Gareth and Bell looked up to see them. When Bell smelled... have you been in the sewers? Bell closed his nose and didn't want to smell the smell that was coming off of them. Oi, shut up, brat! Had to gallivant around the sewers after these plant monsters you fought. Oh, those creatures. No. I think I can handle this, Bell. Bell says, with having his hand under the nose, trying to get the smell away from him. Seeing Loki, Bell excitedly asked if, after Loki took a shower, that he could get an update. Loki said sure and went off to, the bathroom and, bathroom, took a shower and returned back. And after, getting an update in the, in Loki's room, getting back to Gareth and Beat and sitting down, Bell's status has grown a lot more. To be at... Most of his stats were maybe at 200 and 100. Now it has grown to 300 and almost at 400. But all his stats are at 300 now. You're growing fast, Bell. I can tell you that much. Maybe it's because of my Falna wants to reach the status of my body? Yeah, maybe, Loki says, looking at Belle. Anyways, there's something more you want to tell me? Oh yeah! Belle told the whole thing about wealth to, well, Loki. Ah, that is quite lucky of you, Belle. I know, right? I mean, hell, if he agrees to it. Yeah, if he agrees. Remember that. Yeah, I know, Loki. Belle says, smiling at her. It's been around like 2 days since Finn and the others left the house. Belle is kind of worried for them, but after some few hours of the second day, Finn and the others returned, but except for Riveria and Eyes. Belle, that have just, well, started to team up with Wealth a day ago, decided, well, to go into the dungeon with him. Both of them started... Wait, I did say Belle would probably go at night. Belle and Wealth decided to go and try and do a night shift. Something that adventurers have to do sometimes at night. I think that was my plan, that Belle will go mostly at night at this point. So after, well, going into the guild and informing a guild member they will go into the dungeon at night to write them down if they don't return in the morning, both of them walked inside of the dungeon and started to go down, cutting out monsters wherever they come in and coming out from, and actually getting some few materials that Wealth needed for his weapons, and getting some few monster drops that Wealth wanted to mix in with his weapons as well, seeing if it could get stronger with Belle's elements, if Goddess Hephaestus allows it. Walking down on floor 5, both of them walks into a tunnel when they hear people coming out from it. Both of them turn to see two people coming out of the dungeon, being Lady Riveria, Miss Eyes? Or Eyes? Both of them turn to see Belle with another man with red hair. Belle. Eyes walked up and Belle saw her state. Eyes, what had happened? Eyes looked at her outfit and saw that it was kind of more destroyed than usual. Oh, I have just... well, thought some few things. Eyes says, a little embarrassed. Jesus. Belle walked over and, well, took off his cloak because he didn't really need it at this point, and put it around Eyes so she's more covered up, as you might say. You don't have to do that, Eyes says, looking at Belle, but Belle just... You should probably wear this back. Are you not going? Eyes says, looking at Belle, but Belle shook his head. No, me and Welfare are going to do a night shift. Oh. Riveria looked over at Wealth and looked into him, with Wealth looking nervous. Wealth, like Wealth Croso that made you armor set and sword? Riveria looked at Belle and Belle nodded. Yeah, met him a few days ago in the dungeon. Luckily for me. But we haven't done anything with the enchantment thing yet. if you understand. Belle says, looking at Riveria, looked at, well, Wealth with anger, a little bit of mad in her eyes. Not madness, just mad look in her eyes. Wealth looked at Riveria kind of scared. I am nice to meet you. Welf says, walking a little behind Belle. Because Welf does know Belle is quite stronger than, well, himself. Rivera looked at him with the stink eye and just sighed. I cannot hold my members back if they want friends that I don't like. But if you do anything wrong, I will know who you are, Ralph Croso. Yes, ma'am. I understand. Welf says, a little scared of Riveria. Alright then. Both of you have a good night shift then. Riveria walked off with eyes that waved behind and held the cloak near, well, herself. Both Belle and Welf sighed at this. You're luckily she didn't kill you. Are you crazy? I thought I almost died. Welf says, looking at Belle. Both of them walked into a next room where Belle and Welf spotted around 12 goblins, 3 wall shadows, and 4 goblins, kobolds, 4 kobolds fighting in a kind of turf war kind of situation. So, kill the goblins, then the others? Yeah. Welf took out his massive blade and started to attack first. Welf, being the more tanky kind of person, is the frontliner, with Belle making sure that Welf doesn't get hit. Welf went forward and carved through 5 goblins and cut their head off, cut all 5 of them and their heads off, shocking the group, with Belle coming from beside Welf and cutting into 3 other goblins and 1 wall shadow, killing them with his fire blade. Welf, seeing this, raised his sword above his head and cut down and cutting through 2 goblins. Welf had to block 2 wall shadows trying to attack him, but Belle came up, well, jumped over the 2 wall shadows from the side of Welf and cut through their heads and landed on 1 goblin, landing on 1 goblin and using his foot to crush the head on the ground. After that, Welf drew back to his side and then cut through 7 other goblins. I had said 12 goblins, and they already killed 6 of them. No, Belle cut through 3 as well. That's up to 7. So Welf cut down the last 5 goblins. The kobolds tried to jump at Welf, but Welf, grabbing the place where Welf, seeing this, grabbed his blade and then cut, well, threw it from the ground and then up, cutting through 1 of them, but hitting the 2 others away, with Belle coming from behind with 2 knives he was holding and just cut into the necks of the monsters, robbing both of them. Both of them breathed a little until they started to carve out the crystals that was inside. I must say, this is quite the best thing that has happened, Welf says, looking at Belle. Oh, it is? Belle says, looking at him. Yeah. I mean, I think Goddess of Hephaestus will be agreeing to the deal you have offered for me, and allowing me and you to work together. Ah, that sounds great, Belle says, looking at Welf. Welf nodded at this, and both of them continue to, carve into the monsters and picking out the crystals. After some few hours, it beginning to be morning in the Orario with Welf and Belle coming up at night, and was kind of tired at this point. Walking over to the guild where Ayana was standing outside waiting for, Belle and Welf. So, Belle, how was your nightly, escapades? Ayana says, looking at Belle. Please don't say that. Oh, why not? Ayana, you know how that sounds. But it's quite funny. Please stop. Okay, but come in. The money, the Crystal 2 Valis is open right now. Both of them walks inside and, puts in the crystals they have, gotten in the dungeon. Being, like, it's like 10% more than they usually get in the morning or afternoon. So I will say they'll get around 45 around their Valis. Both of them sharing 50-50. So both Welf and Belle gets around 20,000 Valis. Wow, this is a great haul, Welf says, walking out of the building with Belle. Yeah, it is. Hey, do you want to get some food? I know a place where we can get some. Belle says, walking off. Yeah, sure, I need some food. The kitchen is not open in my house yet, so that's kind of awful. Oh, it isn't? Well, it isn't for me either. Both of them was walking into an alleyway when someone was rushing down it and rushed into Belle, but not being knocked over because Belle, made sure that they didn't fall. Whoa, are you okay? Belle says, looking down at the palom that was, ran into his arms by accident. She tried to, get away from Belle, but he didn't noticing why until... Get back here, you little shit! A man was rushing down the corridor and was about to attack Belle and the girl when Welf came in, blocking the attack with his sword, making the sword bounce off of his weapon, and Belle, seeing this, drawing his and swinging when Welf pulled away his sword, cutting into the man's sword and melting the metal from it. Belle stood there in front of the man with the girl right in his arms, and Belle just, what the fuck are you thinking? And that is where I'm gonna leave this episode off. I know it's short, and I know the couple of episodes of this series have been short, but I still need to think out these things, and it's been a while since I've made this one. And if you have any questions for me, because I have forgotten to mention this, if you have any questions for me and you want me to answer them, but you don't want that to be a comment, You can leave them in my I Played World Again series, where I will answer any of your questions there. Leave them in the comments or the old Q&A video, because I will not be making a Q&A video. But any question you have, please leave them there in that series so I can answer them for you. I will answer anything that you have questions for me, but no personal ones. That's what I mostly don't want to have. Okay. And the next week vote is... what if Cranel was a monster hunter? Let me just find it. What if Deku was a owner of a Freddy Fazbear? And... what if Deku was a monster hunter? That is also one of them. Wow, I don't have a lot of series going on right now. Anyways, that is the options I have, so yeah. So I still hope you guys enjoyed this. Good morning, goodbye, farewell, see you later, have a wonderful, 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 wonderful day, my blue masks. Bye bye.